flexed out of all the indignities the post-Brady Patriots have suffered. NBC and the NFL saying, we don't want your team in prime time, Robert Kraft. That might be the most jarring. Welcome to Quick Slants, 22 minutes of fun and excitement coming at you. The 6-time Super Bowl champions against the NFL's dark star. Belichick and McDaniels, NBC and the NFL both say, nah, we're going to take the Giants and Commanders a week from Sunday instead. Dan Jones against Taylor Heineke. We'd rather see them. Dan Snyder's team. And you know what? You can't blame those two entities for flexing out of the Patriots, because that's a team that the last time they were in prime time, 5 nights ago against the Bills, they weren't really that competitive. They were mistake-laden. They surrendered at the end of that game. You know, they've been outscored 117-67 in their last 4 primetime games, all of them losses. They are a tough watch, ladies and gentlemen. The quality of the product has slipped, and we're going to get into what that means on this here program. Here's the game plan for this here program, though, and it's right there. Go down fighting, will you? Don't go changing. That's a Bill Belichick tribute right there. What about Bob? How's Bob feel on all this? And, of course, the great Mike Florio will join us. But right now joining us is the equally great, actually even more great, Kay Adams. A lot of drama, huh?
Never a dull moment up there. I'm surprised, Mr. Kraft. I would like to hear the phone call from him to Fred Godelli, who's still sort of involved in NBC, but sort of not. And just how that would go, because those relationships are so tight with those primetime games, and flexing, that could not have gone over very well.
I can't imagine. I mean, you say, okay, Fred, what exactly is the logic behind not having us against our traditional hated rivals, Bill against his mentee? I mean, this is all the chemicals for explosive primetime activity, but they're not going to get that. It's time now for Quickfire, of course. It's presented by your local New England Honda dealers. What are you giggling at?
I'm giggling at you, and I'm giggling. I just love I love a Bill Belichick having to answer questions every time. But he was on WEEI yesterday talking about potentially changing the offense.
Yeah, I think we need to do what we're doing better. I don't think at this point making a lot of dramatic changes is too hard to do that. If we can just do consistently what we were doing, I think we'll be all right.
This is fine. This is fine. Producers cleverly put in that still of Matt Patricia. What are your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts are, when has it ever been too hard for Bill Belichick, whether it's moving on from Logan Mankins at the dawn of the season or Jamie Collins in the middle of the season? Of course, we're not talking about wondering whether the Patriots are going to switch to the veer or the wishbone. The question is, are you going to become more aggressive? Are you going to employ things that are more amenable to Mac Jones, that make your team look more of an attacking team as opposed to a turtling team? That's what we're driving at. The notion that, hey, if we just do this stuff better, we're going to be fine. That's what every 4-11 team in the NFL will be saying in about 3 weeks. Patriots should not be in the domain of, we're just going to do what we're doing and just try and hope we do it better. That's what they've been operating like since August.
It's very weird, but the whole relationship with the offensive play calling and Matt Patricia, I feel like Bill Belichick doesn't talk about it. He sort of doesn't touch it. Right. It's all real touchy and a bit strange. Somebody whose feelings we kind of sort of know if you can read lips, and I certainly can, was Mac Jones and his feelings on this offense and what they're doing. Here he is talking about his sideline emotions, antics, tirades, and what it went and how he wants more fight.
Yeah, I think it was just me at that point in the game was just like, all right, we're playing catch up here. Let's just go for it. Let's be aggressive. Let's take those shots. Let's just go down fighting, And Matty P was on the same page, and we kind of did that at the end there and moved it a little bit more. So at the end of the day, we got to execute the plays and do a better job. But sometimes you're just so competitive, right? You want to go out there and, hey, let's get a 50-yard gain. And sometimes it doesn't happen, but we might as well go down trying and try and make it work.
I mean, Matty P was on the same page after he got yelled at. I mean, the Patriots have been scared of their own shadow, Kay, since the Baltimore game when Mac had 3 picks. Since then, including his injured period, and since he came back, he has been in a straitjacket. And he has played that way afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of Mac. They're afraid of their offensive line. They're afraid of Mac getting hurt. They're afraid of getting blown off the scoreboard. And that's why you're punting when you know you're not going to have enough opportunities and enough possessions to come back against the Buffalo Bills, because you don't want to get blown off the field. And that, to me, is an indictment of the way they're approaching things. And I'm glad to see Mac Jones say something, Kay.
I am too. You mentioned the pressures, but you didn't mention the pressure on Mac Jones himself. He's got another thing he's worried about, Zappy, and that fan base wanting Zappy, and Zappy looking over his shoulder eventually, or the future of himself and what his legacy is going to be up there in New England. So for him to say something despite all of that, I really appreciated that and his candor. Okay, let's throw it back to when, I think this is when you and I did a show together.
Yeah.
When I lived in New England, 2014 is where we're going. That's when the Patriots drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is what Bill Belichick had to say about Tom Brady.
You know, Tom's age and contract situation is the situation we have at quarterback. I think that we felt as an organization that we needed to address that to some degree in the future. So we'll see how all that works out. But I think you're better off being early rather than late at that position.
I love this clip. I love everything about it. You and I saw up close and personal. Every New England fan did, how it all shook out. And then lo and behold, last night, his 44th fourth quarter comeback, threw a touchdown with 3 seconds to go. And I didn't doubt him for a second. He still got it.
Same. Didn't doubt him for a second. And I remember trying to do logistics in the 2016 Super Bowl. Well, the Falcons' defense has been on the field for a while, so at least that's a silver lining. And it paid off. Same thing. You never doubt the guy. Yet Bill in 2014, and I know it's his job to plan for the future, which in a way he hasn't done the last couple of years, but it's 9 years almost since Bill said that, and the guy still operates at the level he did. Talk about miscalculation of what was right in front of you. Okay.
It's true. And, you know, I'll also say this, Todd Bowles, I was screaming this last week in their game. You have Tom Brady at the end of the game. Yes, he is magic and can do it by nobody else. And I think last night he learned a bit of his lesson. All right, let's get to one last one here. The AFC playoff picture, man, it's getting painted. Mostly everything broke the Pats' way on Sunday. Now they're back in the 8th spot, just one game out of the playoffs. Hey, Tom, open field running?
Okay, when I look at this, I'm looking at that Raiders game, which is going to come up after the Cardinals game, and they're going to be a problem. They're right there next to the Patriots, and they could certainly move to 6-7 and draw into a tie and have a head-to-head against the New England Patriots in terms of the tiebreakers. So, yeah, things broke okay in the AFC East with both the Jets and Dolphins losing, but overall, Chargers win. Now the Raiders are in the equation, and the Patriots, well, they got a game that they absolutely should take care of next Monday night out in Arizona. Now it's time for From the Stands. Do you know that? We got a poll.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's presented by Shaw's. They're perfecting the art of fresh. This was very simple. Explosive question that actually had 3,500 responses. Pat's future plan is murky. Should Kraft consider a coaching change? Delete your account. 22%. No, that would be ice cold. So that's 41% of respondents saying that. And on the other hand, there's 51% of the respondents saying yes, Robert Kraft should consider a coaching change. 45% saying yes, but he won't. Kay, what do the people have to say?
Oh, lots of articles flying on that one, but we love the comments. 3,500, amazing. Brian said things would be way worse without Bill running the ship. Look at all the people who clamored for McDaniels to leave, and now look at the offense. This team wouldn't be near 6-6 if Bill wasn't running it. Has he made mistakes? Yes, but as the saying goes, in Bill we trust. Mike says BB has built an amazing dynasty, but that they shouldn't be nostalgic about keeping him. They are and have been a middling and sloppy team. The MP situation's inexcusable. The roster building on and off has been so poor. I'd be excited to see Mayo named head coach and begin the post-Belichick era. How about William? William says, no. I would take another 10 years of no playoff football with Bill versus anyone else. Suit yourself, William. Phil says, at this point, it feels like Bill Belichick's going to spend every offseason finding new ways to prove how much smarter he is than everyone else. Ooh, Matt Patricia's been a complete disaster, so naturally I won't be surprised to see them give him a huge extension.
This
Yikes.
is my favorite.
And Bill's Gorilla says Bill's Mafia votes for no change. Thank you. You never want to see that.
No, you don't want to see him diving into the responses on an entirely different show in an entirely different market, but there they were. I'm telling you. I mean, it is a conversation that's not going to go away, and it's only going to heat up in the next couple of months. Time now for Ask Kay. And this is very simple. First, Kay, I wanted to get your input on all of this stuff that we've been talking about drama-wise. You got one sentence, and then I need to get your quick Christmas answers.
Wait, what's the question?
The first question is, what is your feeling on talking about Bill Belichick's mortality as the Patriots coach? Offensive?
I laugh a little bit. There has to be a plan for the future. I hope Kraft has that in place. When I'm looking at Google and I'm seeing articles that say, is $20 million too much to pay Bill Belichick? Like, look at your trophy case and shut up. He's trying to make it happen. They have to make a change to be competitive. It's not their year. Have patience like you did all off season and most of the season this year. It's like the Patriots started winning in November and things got good. And then the Patriots fans forgot what the plan was with preaching patience the entire way through.
Don't ever forget how last season ended. Okay, don't ever forget. All right, it's time for Christmas questions. What's your favorite Christmas song?
I don't know. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Oh, Christmas tree? That's nice. All right, good.
Sure.
Eggnog or no?
Never.
Never nog.
Brad Pitt could be under the mistletoe after eggnog, and I'd say no, thank you.
Not noggin. Okay. Finally, what's your stance on presents on Christmas Eve?
I'm a Polish Catholic, and we do all of our Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. We have to find the first star in the sky, the North Star, and then it's present time, baby.
Growth potential. Who are the worst scoring defenses in the National Football League this year? There they are. Right there, Arizona Cardinals. Sitting Ducks next Monday night. Call 1-800-GET-HERE to get your damn bald spot fixed by Dr. Lepresti, will ya? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my slant. Watch out! And I'll ask you, do you remember what kind of idiots we were for asking Bill Belichick about the offensive coordinator play calling role in the spring? Here it is.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of jobs that we have to do. We're all working on those things now. It's May. They'll change in June, they'll change in August, they'll change in September. So we'll evolve and do things timely that we need to do. I mean, if you're asking about game plans, we're like months away from that. Months.
Maybe not game plans, but how about like the one role that we asked those two guys about was the play caller role. Is that
months away?
From having a play caller?
So what plays are we calling?
Well,
mini camp plays.
Can't play?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of an idiot.
We're going to coach the team, coach the players. We're going to get them ready to go.
Do you know who will call offensive plays, or is that a process you'll let play out over the course of the offseason?
Yeah, when we get to it, we'll get to it.
Yeah, what's the rush? Huh? What's with all the urgency? Buffoonery, the media, just starting stuff. How dare we? Months later, Patriots have scored 21 offensive touchdowns in 12 games, and they will not be as prolific as the Cam Newton offense of 2020. Imagine that. And that was supposed to be the rebuild year. Check out that number alignment. This was the year that they were supposed to change things. They got a first-round quarterback on his rookie contract, the highest-paid tight end room in the league, second highest-paid wide receiver room, the highest-paid coach in professional sports, and quite possibly the worst offense in the NFL. They're in the conversation. Do you know why? Because there was no plan once Josh McDaniels left. And Bill took two guys who came back to New England for safe harbor after getting fired elsewhere, who are still getting paid by other teams, and he put them in charge of the offense. It was a thrifty idea, wasn't it? Also a horrible one, as the results have shown. That Belichick was so cavalier about it, though. Like the discussion isn't even worth his time. And not only are the Patriots unproductive, they're afraid of themselves. They think they're going to chase down a playoff spot in the postseason going 40 in the left lane? I mean, they got joggers going past them at this point. So what does Robert Kraft do? Was he just saber-rattling to hear himself talk back in March? Or the previous March when he complained about the drafts? Did he sit there and watch Tom Brady win a Super Bowl for this? To get flexed out of prime time? To have people disinterested in his team? The Patriots are regressing, so what's Bill's plan? And who takes the fall for a season that's not going to go anywhere near where the owner expected? Nobody gets titles, so nobody gets the blame. Everything goes back on Bill. So then what's the owner's recourse if he watches another December dive for the fourth straight season? Head coach has to offer a better explanation than smirks, shrugs, sorry, and snorts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for risers and fallers, and we're going to lead you off with Bill Belichick talking about our first riser, DeAndre Hopkins.
He's up there with whoever the top guys are, Chris Carters of the world, and guys like that. I mean, I think he's every bit as good as anybody I've ever coached against.
Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs, step aside, have your nice nights. Now it's time for DeAndre Hopkins. Nuke or knock is next up when the Patriots face the Arizona Cardinals. He can be a problem. How do the Patriots check him? We're going to find out. He's a riser in Bill Belichick's eyes. Next up, riser. Could it be Sean Payton? Here he was with Tom Brady on the Let's Go podcast.
I know that I want to coach again, and it's not really been a secret, but I want to find the right spot. And as Tom alluded to, it's still about the people.
Needs a new head coach, and I'm not saying the Patriots do, but what they need right now is an offensive mind. Sean Payton is going to be out there. He's going to land someplace, which will put another offensive mind, quite possibly, in play around the NFL. Are the Patriots going to look to a Sean Payton, to somebody else cut loose, or are they going to stay within their little greenhouse where all the stuff that they've grown is pretty much spent? Fallers, we got to hit on John Robinson, former Patriots exec who's been a longtime GM for the Tennessee Titans. He was relieved of duties today, not just a couple days after the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown, who Robinson traded away, ripped the Titans a newie. Next up, faller. Let's go with a combo here. It's Lamar and Jimmy. Jimmy Garoppolo breaks his foot. The 49ers, a possible Super Bowl threat, have those chances broken as well. You thought maybe Baker Mayfield might land there. He's going to the Rams instead. And Lamar Jackson has an injured knee, patella injury, so they're going to be limited. So all of a sudden, you have an AFC race that is real muddy and a Ravens team that may be dropping back, while the Bengals could be challenging for the AFC North title. And of course, the AFC North title, if it does go through Cincinnati, that means Cincy has a December 24th game against the Patriots, which is going to be vital. Is this jarring to you from a national perspective to consider perhaps Robert Kraft might perhaps think about considering perhaps a thought given to replacing Bill Belichick?
Well, we are at a point both with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick where everything is new. We've never experienced this before. The only coach really with the kind of sustained success that Bill Belichick has had owned the team, George Halas with the Chicago Bears. And I just wonder what kind of leeway 6 championships buys a guy. How many years until the ownership group begins to become uncomfortable? How many years until ownership is willing to listen to whatever the fan base wants? This is all unprecedented, brand new, and a lot of it depends upon what Belichick wants, and a lot of it depends upon why he's doing what he's currently doing. This whole thing with McDaniel's gone, and we're going to do this Frankenstein monster of an offensive coaching staff with guys who never really coached offense before. How much of that is, I have a ton of equity and I'm going to use it?